Welcome to Key Conversations, where you get to connect with the best of the music business, unlocking the secrets to exploding your music career, presented by In the Key of Success. I'm your host, Cheryl B. Engelhardt. The conversations you're about to hear are between our special guest and participants of my MX4 course, the Marketing and Branding, Money-Making, Mentorship Mastermind for Musicians. They are singers, songwriters, composers, producers, and artists just like you, asking their burning questions of our experts while transforming their careers over 6 weeks. If you think this could be you, check out mx4course.com to schedule a free half-hour coaching call with me to see if we'd be a good fit. So, let's get started. We are back with Dave Cool of Bandzoogle, and we are going to do a laser round of questions. So let's start with Ethan. Do you have any questions for Dave Cool about websites, Bandzoogle, driving traffic, anything?
Yeah, you talked about all the different things that you've done as you've progressed through your work in the industry. So obviously you have to be pretty decent at networking by now after this many years. So I guess I want to ask, how do you usually network? How do you usually follow up with people and make close contacts? That way you can continue working with people rather than talking to them once or twice and being done.
Great question. I would attribute every sort of success I've had in my career to networking, plain and simple. I took networking very serious from early 20s on. I read a great book it's actually behind me, called Never Eat Alone. And it's a great book about networking, and it changed my life in a way. And part of that Music Conferences ebook is all about networking and networking tips. And I would say that you said a word that is key that most people don't do, which is follow up. I mean, I give out hundreds of business cards when I'm away on trips, and very few people ever follow up. And I have something for them, and they say they're going to email me, and they never do. And just a couple months ago, I was at Canadian Music Week here in Toronto, and a couple of young music students, I met them at a networking event, and they had a bunch of questions. And I said, well, here's my card, email me, and I'll send you articles, whatever. And they actually did. And I told them, I was like, you guys are some of the only people that have ever followed up. It's so important. So making that contact and actually following up with people is key. In terms of keeping that network going, it's a long process, but with people in the industry that I was reaching out to, taking a step back, when I'm talking to people at networking events or at conferences, I generally am not talking about myself. I'm asking them about what they do, what their passions are in life. Sometimes I'll take it completely outside of business and I just want to know who they are as a human being, and see what connection I can make with them. Maybe they really love hockey. I'm from Canada. It's like our religion up here. So, maybe we can talk hockey. Maybe they have pets, and there's some funny stories there. However you can get to know them better as a human being. People want to do business with people they like. That's one thing I've noticed in 15 years working in this industry is a lot of deals get done over a couple of beers or a nice meal, more than in a office. It just, people want to do business with people they know and like. And so the more you can get to know people and show an interest in them. And the second layer of that is, how could you help them in some way? Or if you find an interesting article on a subject that they're really passionate about, just send them a quick email saying, "Hey, I thought of you." 2-line email. You sort of ping them, and I did this for years and years and years and built up an amazing network. And I've gotten a lot of people jobs because job opportunities come my way, and I'm like, oh, I know the perfect person for this, and I connect people to each other. And if you can be a connector, that's even better. But starting off, just, building that network, letting people know who you are, but getting to know them and seeing if you could be of any help to them, I think is key. And then, following up it amazes me. It's the biggest mistake of not only musicians, but anyone who attends conferences or events and don't bother to actually do the follow-up.
Yeah, that's a really great question, and something that, Ethan, you're just beginning this course, but the other guys that have gone through this course is you really get what it takes to get a response. One of the biggest problems I used to see was that I would send out all these emails from conferences, and I was a big follow-upper, but I never got responses back. It wasn't even like I was getting no's. It was like crickets. So what I discovered, and we'll dig deeper into this, is when you have an intention for the email, not just like, hey, it was nice meeting you, check out my links. Like, why? Now I get emails like that all the time, and I just delete them. Like, why should I spend, like, what do you want out of this? What do you want me to get out of it? Is there a partnership possibility? Like, what's going on here? So getting a specific request in that interaction and knowing what you can provide them and what they can possibly provide you, but being clear on that, and maybe not digging in right away to how can you help me, but hey, this might be interesting. Would you want to have a conversation about this? So maybe the intention is to just have coffee with someone or to have a follow-up call. So that got me, I got a lot more no's, but I also got a lot more yeses and overall more responses, just because there was something specific that I was asking for, and I had a really clear intention of what I wanted that interaction to look like. And I was open to it turning into anything. So that really helped me for the follow-up. The other thing about follow-up that I'm just going to throw in there, and this is from me going to conferences, used to be that person that wanted to meet the Dave Cools of the conference. What I learned was that I never knew if I was being a burden or not. And I never knew if my following up was being obnoxious, or because I'm one of the persistent type A personality. I had Excel sheets of who I reached out to, when I reached, like that's, there's the people that throw the cards in the garbage, and then there's the people that me. Mm-hmm. But I couldn't find the happy medium. And one of the things that I got in somewhere along the line is asking permission to follow up. Like, okay, got it that you don't have any spots for me as a composer right now. Do you mind if I follow up with you in a month? Specific question. Yeah, of course, follow up. Or no, we're not, we'll reach out to you. Like, that's really clear. And then I put a note in my Excel sheet, follow up, and I put it in my calendar, month from now, follow up, or 6 months from now, follow up. Here's the email. Here's how that interaction went down. And then I follow up, and I've gotten jobs because I followed up for a year straight, once a month with people. And it's, when you ask permission, then it's the ball's in their court. They're like, yeah, absolutely, follow up. And be like, okay, hey, remember you told me that I could do this? Then you have the clearance. You're not going to be obnoxious. You're not being a burden. You're not tainting your name, because if you follow up once a week and someone does not want to hear from you, like, that's bad for you. So you have to sort of read people, and that's why I say ask for permission with the follow-up.
It's a really great point, and I have a quick anecdote related to that. I wrote a post years ago for Bandzoogle about polite persistence, and I told the story of when I was booking that venue up in Montreal. I was booking a small indoor venue, and we gave musicians the door, and that was it. It was a very simple deal. We didn't pay guarantees. It just wasn't that kind of venue. And I got a call from a jazz trio of local musicians who played in like punk rock bands in their early 20s, and now were playing like jazz covers for corporate events. And nice guy, and I knew some of the bands he had played with, and asked if we could hire him. I was like, well, we just don't do that here. And he's like, okay, well, cool. Maybe I'll check back with you in a few months. I was like, yeah, that's fine. I enjoyed it. He didn't keep me on the phone for an hour. It was a very quick call. He was very nice and polite. A few months later, he calls again. He's like, has anything changed at the venue? I was like, no, not really, man. But we just had a nice 2-minute chat. And then like 6 months after that, we booked a small corporate event, a private event, and they wanted a jazz trio. And so guess who I thought of? So I called him, offered him the gig. It was for less money than they usually take. But he's like, you know what? I want to prove that we can do this. We're going to do a good job. They came in. They crushed it. They were awesome. They were perfect. And then the following year, I got the keys to the big outdoor site where we did weekly music. And we paid guarantees, and guess who got the contract to play pretty much every week? And they made thousands of dollars over the course of 3 more summers, because he was a really nice guy. He followed up, but not every day. He didn't keep me on the phone for an hour each time. It was very, very nice, persistent, polite follow-ups. And then when they did get an opportunity, they were professional. They did the job and got their foot in the door, and benefited the band greatly for a few years. So
cool. Yeah, Ethan, great conversation there. You guys are starting some really good talks here. This is awesome. Scott, this is not so much the laser round as the let's just talk more round. Let's see. So Scott, you have another question.
Actually, I don't right now. I was just taken in by some of the stories. Really appreciate the anecdotes, and also just making a lot of mental notes too to myself, about I was already drafting up my email about following up. So oh my God, now I don't want to miss out on getting your email. It's D Cool at Bandzoogle, correct?
Exactly.
Cool.
Okay.
Dave, you'll have to tell me, do you want me to cut that out of the podcast so that's not public, or do you not, is it on the website?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
It's on, it's out there.
Okay, cool. We edit these. I have someone working with me to edit this shit out like that. Beep, we'll bleep that. Or not. Shit, fuck, whatever. Maybe they're swearing on this. Cool. Okay, so Favor, if you are still on the phone driving to Columbus, Ohio, do you have one more question?
Thank you for the opportunity. I'm just enjoying listening and just soaking up the information. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, so back to you, Greg.
Nothing that I can think of at the moment. No, it looks like a pretty cool service, and I'm hearing some good information. Taking notes.
Yeah, cool. Well, I've got some questions. Then here we go. We'll spend like 5 minutes. This will be our laser round, and then we'll be able to we'll close up soon, so we won't need to take the full hour. So if you're a musician that has a little bit of a presence, has some music out, but doesn't have a strong website, and they decide to go to Bandzoogle, what are the? I mean, it can be a little overwhelming. Like, I got to get the videos, I got to get the mail list, what's like the top 3 things that no matter what you need to have? Like the first 3 things, if you just want to get something out there to have, what are the 3 most important tools you think a website that every musician should be using?
First and foremost, a great photo. I do website reviews, or I used to, like every day and at conferences, and if you don't have a professional photo for the header or background image, it's just a dead giveaway that you're not serious. It's really, people will judge instantly. We tell musicians they should be spending way more on a professional photographer than on their website, really, because you're going to use those images for your website, for your social media, for your press kit media, all that stuff. So you really need to invest in professional photos.
Awesome.
So that's first and foremost, because that ties into your branding, and so it all starts with that key image. After that, it's really, a lot of people have a tendency to want to put too much, like they have all this content and they want to put it all on that homepage. Keep it simple. Make sure people can find the information they're looking for. Don't be artsy with the menu names. Keep it very clear what people are going to find in each section. Your music is your art, your website is your business, kind of thing. And making sure that when people get to your website, there's a clear, we call it a call to action. There's a clear direction you want people to take. Is that signing up to your mailing list, which I think for most musicians it should be. And if so, what's the incentive? Is it a free download? Is it exclusive content? An EP you can't find anywhere else? Why should people hand over their email address? But a call to action could be, check out your tour dates because you're going to be on the road. It could be, check out my Pledge Music campaign. I'm, raising money for my upcoming album. The one, gotta think of, like, people are super busy. They land on your website. What's the one thing you want them to do? What's the one action you want them to take? And have that in mind when they land on your homepage.
That's great. So awesome photo, not cluttered, if that's the thing, and a really strong call to action, or the obvious thing that if I was like, hey, I need content to share, I'd go to your webpage. Did you just release a video? Is there a mail list? Is there a show? Is there a thing? What's the one thing you want them to do so they don't have to do the work and find it? Right?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, awesome. Let me see if I can come up with one other really awesome question. What sets Bandzoogle apart from other websites? I work with a lot of different websites. I refer a lot of people to different websites. Bandzoogle is definitely on the top of the list for musicians. I also am a big fan of Wix. I know Squarespace is doing some great stuff right now. But what really is like the cherries on top, the cream of the, all those expressions. What is it that you would have people say, yeah, this is why Bandzoogle is great for you?
We're 100% focused on websites for musicians, and it's built by musicians for musicians. All of us are current performing musicians ourselves. The company's been around for 11 years. We power over 25,000 websites for musicians and bands around the world. And all the features are developed based on feedback from members over the years. All the new functionality we add. Built-in ticketing was a huge request, so we built that. We added an Instagram integration last year because a lot of members were asking for that. Like, we're constantly releasing new features and new functionality. All of the features go a lot deeper for musicians. So like our music players, you can sell music totally commission free. We don't take a cut of sales, so 100% goes straight back to the musicians. You can make it pay what you want, set the price, free, free with email. Everything's shareable on social media. Everything's mobile responsive. All the tools that musicians need are there, and we're constantly improving on that based on feedback from musicians. So there's that, and also our system, we get feedback every day that Bandzoogle remains the easiest platform out there. It was really built so that you don't have to spend a lot of time building a professional looking website. You can go back to rehearsing and writing music or performing, and you don't have to spend a lot of time trying to figure out how to build a website. It's as a drummer, I like to perpetuate this this line, but I like to say Bandzoogle is so easy your drummer could do it. Like, it's really the easiest way to build a professional website out there. And there's lots of other platforms, and most of them are very generic, and they try to be everything to everyone, whereas all we're thinking about is how can we improve a musician's web presence and save them time, save them money. And there's a category in our blog called new features, and if you click on that category, you just see the stream of all the new functionality we add on a regular basis, and it's super exciting and super fun. And we have a developer team working full time just adding new stuff, and there's never an end to that list. It's so it's a lot of fun. We still have a lot more stuff to add that we want to improve on, and yeah. So I'd say to sum it up, it's just we're a musician company founded by musicians for musicians, and that's our world. And we're at conferences. We're part of the community. Yeah. Our staff are performing musicians. We have a couple of opera singers on our staff, and so yeah, it's and people get that sense whenever we go to conferences. Like, it's our members tend to stick around for years and years and years, and we love it. We do meetups in every city we go to, and meet up with our members and get all sorts of positive feedback. So that's kind of how we're standing apart. We're a small, independently run company who's punching way above our weight class in the music technology space. We don't have like huge venture capitalist funding or anything like that. It's still run by the same musician that founded it. So we're happy with where we're at after 11 years. A lot of companies come and go, or have come and gone in that time.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, no, Bandzoogle is really great. And oh yeah, Greg, for the finish.
I was wondering if you could speak a little bit how you handle the domain. I noticed you said free domain name support. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, so it's free to try. Bandzoogle's totally free to try. You can build a website. You don't have to give a credit card or anything like that. So there's no obligation. You use it free for 30 days, build a site. If you like it, you can upgrade to a paid plan. And there's 3 plans, which you can upgrade or downgrade anytime. And you get a free domain registration once you upgrade. So if you don't have a domain yet, you can register one. If you already do have one, you can simply point it to our servers. But the hosting's included, domain names included, all the design themes, ability to sell music, calendar, blog, social integrations, all that fun stuff is all included. The pro plan, like the most expensive plan, which is $20 a month, you get unlimited everything, unlimited mailing list, unlimited storage, and you get a whole bunch of e-commerce features. So, album pre-sales, inventory tracking, download codes, promo codes, that kind of stuff. So if you're really, looking to beef up your e-commerce, then those tools are there. But you can, with all the plans, you get the hosting, the domain name, and you can build a professional looking website.
Cool. Well, you guys, I think that's a perfect spot to finish this conversation up. You guys, thanks for your questions, for doing the research, for really listening and asking great questions that turned into awesome conversations. I think this was a really valuable conversation for everyone, producers, musicians, artists, songwriters. And thank you so much, Dave, for being here and sharing all your years of wisdom in the industry and at Bandzoogle. And thanks for Bandzoogle for sharing you with us today. And yeah, really, really was a great pleasure. So thank you to everyone very much.
Thanks, guys. That was fun.
All right, guys, next week we're going to be talking with Judy Stakey. She is a legend in the music world of A&R and artist development. She signed Cheryl Crow. She's got a huge career behind her. You don't want to miss this. We will see you next week. Please don't forget to rate and comment on iTunes and Stitcher Radio if you like this podcast. It's the best way to keep it going, get more subscribers, and continue to share this awesome information with the indie music community. Thank you, and we'll see you next time. All of the music on this podcast has been created by yours truly. The theme song is called Inevitably, written with Cameron Ernst and produced by Joey Ock. You can find all the songs, plus more information on my music career at CherylBE.com. If you want to be one of the reasons I can keep this podcast and my blog Living on Gigging going, then head to patreon.com/CBEmusic. There, you can contribute $1, $2, $5 for the creation of each of these free musician resources. Together, we can keep them coming and inspire other creative people to do what they love and do it well. Again, that's patreon.com/CBEmusic. Key Conversations is sponsored in part by Bandzoogle. They make it easy to build a beautiful website for your music. Their step-by-step system gets you online in minutes, and you can choose from hundreds of mobile-friendly themes and customize them with their easy point-and-click editor. All the features you could possibly imagine for a professional website are built in. So, because you are a Key Conversations podcast listener, you get a special 3-month free trial just for you. Go to www.inthekeyofsuccess.com/resources and click on the Bandzoogle logo to access your free extended trial.